Good evening, guys. Welcome to the Question Box, your weekly gaming talk show here on twitch.tv/magic_cast. I'm one of your hosts, Shane Bailey, and I'm joined by some very good friends from the Australian and New Zealand gaming community. Immediately to my right, it is the co-host of the Xboxcast, which is one of ANZ's longest-running Xbox podcasts. Please welcome to the show, Simone Dunkerley.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us. And to her right, it's the animazing Jason Mirah.
Hey, what's up, guys?
I blanked on your Movie Magic Show introduction. Sorry,
That's
Jace.
Fine.
He loves his VR and shaking his hips like Shakira. Please welcome the era of Jason Mirah.
Hi.
How are you, Jace?
Living the lockdown dream here in Sydney.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
For those tuning in to the Question Box for the first time, every Friday, 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, right here on twitch.tv/magic_cast. I'm joined by some good friends from the Australian New Zealand gaming community to break down not all, not most, only the most important gaming news stories from the world of the industry that we know and love. In the first segment, we will dive into what we believe are top three gaming news stories from the past week. And in the latter half of the show, we'll dive into Question Time, where we bring into question one big gaming news topic, trend, or theme for us to discuss. With Simone being on the show, we couldn't go past an Xbox topic. So this week, we will be talking about Xbox in 2021. What do we think of their year so far, as well as what they have coming for the next 4 to 5 months. We'll also talk about Gamescom predictions for next week. They have a showcase scheduled, I believe, early hours of Friday morning, I want to say. I'll have to double check that, but we'll get to that topic at the end of the show. But before we dive any deeper, Simone, firstly, this is your first time on the show, so please, for those who don't know you or don't know the Xboxcast, educate them.
Sure. So, as you said, my name is Simone. With the help of my husband and a friend of ours, we host a podcast called the Xboxcast, which covers all things Xbox, which includes games and hardware and news. And a lot of the time we just talk about things we don't know about. So we just have a lot of fun. We just sit there like we're having marshmallows and a beer and just chat about games for an hour.
Marshmallows and a beer, awesome. Is that a common combination? I've never heard this before.
I eat the marshmallows, they drink the beer.
Oh, okay, right.
Oh.
I was like, both at the same time. That's a bit odd, but anyway. Anyway, shout out to the Xboxcast in chat there. Go subscribe on Twitch, guys. And you're on podcast services as well. I know you're on Spotify. Simone, anywhere else?
We're on everything, as far as I'm aware. Yeah.
Wow.
Everything.
Anywhere
there you go.
Anywhere where you listen to your podcast, we're there.
Nice.
Xboxcast, one word. Yeah.
And Jason, you have been on the show before, but for people who don't know you, what do you like to do in the gaming world?
I don't do much, but I do stream on Twitch. Actually planning. I've been looking forward to this for ever since it was announced. But I'm hoping to stream 12 minutes through Xbox games. No, what? Yeah, it's Game Pass. What am I trying to say?
Game Pass, that's right. Yep.
Yeah. So I just stream on Twitch every now and then, and that's me. And on the Movie Magic Show, nearly every Wednesday on twitch.tv/magic_cast. Make sure you hit subscribe there. And
that's it. It's scrolling by the ticker right now. There it is, Movie Magic Show,
there
right here on Shane's channel. Beautiful. Great timing, Jace. Anyway, with those introductions out of the way, we'll dive into the first segment of the show. It is the top three. For those joining us in chat, feel free to chime in as well with your thoughts on the topics we will be discussing. Simone, Jason, are you ready to kick it off?
I am ready.
Go for it.
Let's do it. First story number one is Fortnite being a bit sus, I might say. Epic Games being a bit sus. Among Us devs aren't feeling Fortnite's new Imposters mode. We head on over to Kotaku, where Ian Walker writes this story. For those who might not have seen this one, Epic Games added a new game mode to Fortnite just the other day that sounds suspiciously like indie hit Among Us, right down to the terminology used for its antagonists. Imposters pits a maximum of 10 Fortnite players against one another as they attempt to figure out who among them are out to sabotage the rest of the group. Normal competitors, known as agents, work to complete a series of tasks across a large map, while the titular imposters do whatever they can to hinder the group's progress up to and including killing other players. Sounds very familiar. But agents aren't without their own set of tools. Periodically, they'll be able to vote out players they believe to be imposters, adding a layer of social engineering to the process. Complete all your assignments or eject the 2 imposters and you win. Of course, Among Us wasn't the first game of its kind. It's basically a reworked version of the party game Mafia, Werewolf. What's the full title of Werewolf, Jason?
One Night Ultimate Werewolf.
One Night.
It's the version that I have. There are different versions.
Yes. Oh, I love the One Night Ultimate Werewolf version. So much fun.
One Night's the better one.
That said, some have rightfully argued that Epic Games wouldn't have been interested in adding such a mode to Fortnite without Among Us' breakout popularity over the last couple of years, and the folks at Among Us developer Innersloth seem to agree. Quote, "It would have been really, really cool to collaborate," wrote Innersloth community director Victoria Tran shortly after the Fortnite reveal went live. She continues, "Like game mechanics, fine. Those shouldn't be gate-kept. But at the very least, even different themes or terminology makes things more interesting." Adrian Wallach, lead Unity programmer at Innersloth, had this to say: "Everything in the world was already feeling insurmountable, so this was just another fun reminder of how tiny we all are." Fortnite has long been criticised for its crass amalgamation of popular culture, which in the past often materialised in lifting of dance moves without crediting their original creators. I can't say I'm a massive Fortnite fan, and I've dabbled in Among Us. How about you, Simone? Do you venture into either?
Never played Fortnite. I have played Among Us. Not very much. Only on mobile, actually.
All right, yeah, I'm the exact same. Jason, how about you?
Yeah.
I played Fortnite when they did like a free weekend when they first announced the Battle Royale mode and whatnot, and I just got destroyed by people who are a lot younger than me and faster reflexes, and I just put it down. I just couldn't do it. But I play Among Us all the time. It's a really cool team game that we play with all of my my team, of course. It's a bonding exercise, and it's really interesting to see the quiet ones just like, come in and just stab you on the back and accuse you, and you sit there, you go, you're how?
I mean, it's what's most fun about these games, right? Like I just mentioned One Night Ultimate Werewolf earlier. I have so much fun every time I either go on holidays, with mates, and we after dinner we sort of whip that out, or a bunch of other board games as well, and have a blast. So look, not again to the article's point, Among Us not original in that sense, but certainly popularized this social game mechanic, and one of the biggest breakout hits, particularly last year when it really exploded over Twitch. So how do we feel about Epic Games swooping in here with a mode about 12 months after the fact that's almost identical? I remember seeing I should have had it ready for the show actually, and that is a both overlays of the maps from both games, and they look the format and the flow looks almost identical. Even some of the room names have been duplicated across. So Epic really haven't done a great job of putting their own unique spin on things. It seems like just a straight rip-off. Jace, I'll go to you first. How do you feel about this?
It's kind of like, hey, can I look at your homework? It's like, all right, just don't copy it too much, and then the homework.
Identical.
It's like, come on, you have enough money, right? Epic Games, that is. Like,
I'm pretty sure they have all the money, actually.
They have all of the money. Yeah. Just like let the indie developers, have their moment, right? Because it's like, and they already have the limelight, and the amount of praise that Innersloth have gotten is well credited, because Among Us is a great game. I love playing Among Us, and it deserves to be noted that they kind of like the shining example of how to do it right, and how good a really good idea is for an indie developer. So for the big guy to come in and be like, hey, we're going to do exactly the same thing, it's just gonna draw everyone's eyes away from the indies and put more money in the people's who already has all the money pockets. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I kind of like my brain kind of just went towards the end.
I know where you're coming from, Simone. Like, this isn't the first time Fortnite have copied anyone else, right? Like we saw them. Fortnite was a game that launched in I think way back in 2013 without a battle royale mode, and then PUBG was popularized the mode, and they did a straight rip as well. So when you see them do it to Among Us, how do you feel about that?
Gosh, I forgot that originally Fortnite was a base building game, right?
Yeah, it was like a survival waves against AI sort of base
forgot.
building game. Yeah.
Gosh, I mean, to be honest, I think it's a bit cheeky. It's quite on the nose, especially they're that deliberate that they've even used the same wording. So they haven't been subtle at all. Yeah, I don't know much about, like, how legal is that? Can they be sued?
I think it's probably different enough, right? Like Among Us is a completely different. The way you control your character in Among Us is completely different to Fortnite. So while the mode itself is a straight rip, I think just the very nature of the mechanics of the game are different enough that it can't be. I'll point to Victoria Tran's quote in the Kotaku article. She mentions that gatekeeping game modes shouldn't be a thing, and I completely agree with her. Right, like. I can't tell you the first game to include a capture the flag mode. It was likely a first-person shooter from the 90s, so Quake or Doom I probably lean towards. But we've seen games adopt that mode and do really well with it, right? Like, how terrible would it be if the first game to do team deathmatch had the rights to team deathmatch? So I totally understand that game modes should probably be replicated and iterated upon and made better, and you put your own spin on it, right? But yeah, to the point of Inner Sloth here, the developer behind Among Us, hasn't really been much originality injected into this mode from Epic, and as a huge publisher and developer, I think it's on them to really combine, be inspired by these game modes, sure, but put your own spin on it. Like, I haven't played the mode. I'm not a huge Fortnite fan, but based on the gameplay I have seen, I'm not seeing any base building mechanics that Fortnite is really well known for. So this is really disappointing in my mind. And yeah, it would have been great if there was some kind of crossover collaboration, right? And you get that great partnership. And I think towards the end of the Kotaku article there, it's I didn't mention it, but it is noted that it is ironic that Epic Games has sued Apple, in the big fight against.
I was thinking about.
So this David Goliath battle, or Goliath at this point battle between both of them, fighting for freedom, in the entertainment space. But here they go and do this. So yeah, a bit disappointing. But yeah, I suppose, how do you guys feel, Jason? Just game modes in general, and seeing different developers take what others do and sort of replicate them, but with their own sort of spin on it, right? Like, are you in agreement with me that that's something that we would love to see?
I mean, you kind of hit on a really interesting point just earlier. Like, if they had a part where it was Among Us with the Fortnite flair in it, with base building or building. I don't know. I don't play Fortnite. I don't know. You build the thing. If they did something like that, that'd be really interesting. I don't know how you would have put it all together. That would have been really interesting. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, you've seen in Halo there's infection mode, right? And even and I've even seen, well, even look at the moment, a big game that's blowing up at the moment is Splitgate, right? Splitgate is, from what a lot of people are saying, is Portal meets Halo. That's two things that people are putting together, and from what it sounds like, Portal and Halo sounds freaking amazing. I really want to play Splitgate. I don't know how you play it. I'll get around to it one day.
I think it's free to play. I believe it crossed 10 million downloads just recently.
Oh, what? Okay, all right, I'll check that out. And so yeah, at the moment, if and I'm sure there are people out there, the casual gamer who's seeing, oh, I love Among Us. Oh, sweet, and I can play Among Us in Fortnite, and I guess we're the minority, right, of the informed gamers, right? And when I say informed gamers, I'm not not like a PC Master Race type of thing, but you get 6-year-old Johnny person plays Fortnite on his mum's iPad every now and then. All they're going to see is oh, there's a little Imposters mode. What's this? Oh, it's kind of like that other game, Among Us, that we play with my friends. Let's all play this, and that way they're able to have their characters, their Fortnite characters and their skins or whatever. How about having Superman and John Wick in Among Us, right? And that's so I have to always have to remind myself to put that lens on, because people like my brother out there, he's like, he always buys the new FIFA every year, and he'll just send me a text saying, "Hey, what game should I play?" I'm like, "You can play all of these expansive open world games, really cool narrative games." Like, oh, I don't know, I just want a game where I can shoot things. I'm like, Call of Duty's coming out in November. He goes, "Oh, sweet, I'll get that." So yeah, that's my take on it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Zacharias in chat says, in saying that the Among Us fad has already started to fade. That's a good point. Yeah, Among Us has sort of peaked, like we said last year, and seemingly fallen by the wayside for most. I'm not sure what the monthly active users for it at this point are looking like, but for a long stretch of particularly the latter half of 2020, you couldn't go without mentioning Among Us and how popular it was, particularly among younger demographics as well. It sort of seemed to take over the gaming sort of what's the word? Just like the zeitgeist is the word I was looking for, right? And really causes this huge discussion. But Jason, you mentioned Call of Duty, and it too is an IP that proves this point, right? They took the battle royale mode with Warzone, but they made it its own, right? It's a much more fast paced than something like Fortnite. I think you could argue most similar to something like Apex Legends, right? Just in the sense that it's a first person shooter with more sort of, I suppose, hardcore realistic weaponry. But at the same time, they add the Gulag as well, which is its own unique sort of revive respawn mechanic also. So I think, really disheartening that they've blatantly ripped off Among Us in this case. But Simone, thinking about the fact that, you asked, could they be sued? Like, do you think there's enough could be done just like in renaming of some of these things? Like, it's called the Imposters mode, and it's 10 versus or 8 versus 2, right? In this, it's so, and the map as well, and the names of the rooms. I guess how far do you need to push it before you're not being accused of ripping off, I suppose?
Yeah, no, good question. I think, well, what Epic's done is blatant. I mean, even I didn't realize that the maps were basically the same, but you could just start by making a new map. It's like they didn't even try. But it's smart on their part. I mean, as Zarkrai said in the chat, if the interest in Among Us is going down, now is the time to reinvigorate it in another game. Epic is like picking up the baton in a way, blatantly. Just a side note, talking about reinvigorating game theme or game mechanics in other games. Forza has a battle royale mode.
Right,
Too.
Yeah, Forza Horizon, they introduced that. Yeah.
And that's great. I mean, who's going to do Cars? Cars is just...
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah.
Just quickly, GPN Hall of Gamers, thanks so much for the raid. How was your stream? Hope you guys had a great time, and welcome to the question box. Right now we're talking about Fortnite Imposters mode and Epic's blatant rip-off of Among Us and that mode there. Speaking, just an idea that popped into my head just then when we were thinking about how could they adopt the, I suppose... the mode and make it its own and combine it with the pre-existing mechanics within Fortnite. How about you take the mechanic of social deduction and needing to sabotage as an imposter, and you tie that to, okay, the goal is to build something, to this spec, and you have different tasks as you're constructing like you would in Fortnite, but you have the opportunity to sabotage things here and there. Like, it's just, I really feel as though trying to make it your own is the least that they could do. Epic is a huge team, and part of the reason why they were really that really got them to surpass PUBG in a huge manner. Hey Dash, thanks for follow. Was because they're a massive team that can iterate really quickly. They can turn around new content really, really fast. I'm honestly surprised that it's taken them this long to rip off Among Us. I reckon they could have had something out in easily literally 6 months from that point. So I'm surprised we're in August of the year following for this one. Tremendosaurus Rex, also thank you for the follow. Thanks for the love, guys. Hope you're all well and enjoying the show. I think we've had enough of Epic and Among Us for one show, so we'll move on to topic number 2, story number 2, pardon me, and that is all the news coming out of QuakeCon recently. It's I don't think it's live like as right of this minute because America is asleep at the moment, but we already had a couple of cool announcements to come out of there. The Xboxcast. Whoa, thanks for the follow. Was that you, Simone, or is it someone else on the ones and twos? We'll head on over to Press Start, where Shannon Grixty writes, Bethesda has announced the Skyrim Anniversary Edition, which by our calculations puts Skyrim in contention for the most re-released video game of all time. The new edition is releasing later this year on November 11th, and those that have the special edition of Skyrim will be able to upgrade by paying a small fee. It's releasing on PS5, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and PC. The Skyrim Anniversary Edition, includes 500 pieces of community content, including new quests, dungeons, weapons, bosses, spells, and more. But most importantly, you can now fish using an actual fishing rod rather than your hands. Bethesda said to reveal more about the Anniversary Edition later today in the special QuakeCon panel. I have that VOD up, so we'll be able to see the fishing in a moment. Jason, how many times have you dived into Skyrim at this point?
Once.
Oh, once. Okay.
Yeah, I put like 120 hours into Skyrim when it first came out, and that's about it. Which is surprising because I put a lot of love into it, and I think what happened was my game save was corrupt, and I said, you know what, that's the end of my yeah, I know it's rookie numbers, yeah. Yeah, those are rookie. What am I trying to say? Anyway, that journey is finished now. I had enough fun, and then they started releasing more things, and I just had too much to play to have to go back to Skyrim. And I don't get me wrong, I love Skyrim. Skyrim is great, and it deserves all the accolades. But cool, man, it's a lot of Skyrim right now, isn't it?
Yeah, well, November 11th this year will be the 10-year anniversary of Skyrim. So I suppose what better month or date to release it on. I quickly want to get to the chat because there's a lot of love going on. Hello to Shadowless Edge, who joins us also. Hope you're well, my friend, and Cobra Toddy as well. Thank you for joining us, and thanks for the follows also to Ducky and Cobra.
It's like everyone's getting on the beers.
Simone, how about you? Are you a Bethesda fangirl, and have you dove into Skyrim in the past?
I have never played Skyrim.
Ooh.
Wow, you're the one,
I know.
the one person that Bethesda's trying to reach. Like, there's one person out there who hasn't bought Skyrim yet. Where are they?
When I started dating Kyle, I think one of the first games he tried to convince me to install was Elder Scrolls. Yeah, that's the name of a game?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's Elder Scrolls. Yeah. And
I think I can't remember how far I got. I think I might have gotten annoyed with the installer that I needed to do more than just click next, and never ended up playing it. Now I have to rack my brains. I don't think I've played a Bethesda game.
Oh,
okay.
Really?
I can rattle off some IP, and you can tell me. Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Wolfenstein, Doom, Dishonored, Prey, Quake, The Evil Within. What have I missed, Jace? Anything?
I'm trying to think. Help us out in chat. What
Arx Fatalis. I think that was an old school arcane joint. I don't think I've missed anything. I mean, in Elder Scrolls, you had Oblivion and Morrowind.
Yeah. Well, maybe it was.
As the different entries. Yeah. But wow, yeah. Did I say Doom right? I said Doom, yeah.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, Doom is on my to-play list.
Doom is great.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, we
Prey as well. Yeah, GP and Prey in chat. Yeah, also no Bethesda games at all.
Wow.
Oh, I know, it's terrible, right?
Oh, it's fine.
No, that's totally fine. Yeah, I really didn't get into Bethesda games until Skyrim. Actually, I remember trying Oblivion when it launched on the 360 way back when, and just for whatever reason didn't click. I think I was overwhelmed by the open world, right, and the choice. Up until that point, I'd mostly been playing linear shooters and platforming games, so that kind of threw me off. I wasn't a huge RPG fan. I tried Fallout 3 a couple of years later, and it was just too brown and grey and depressing. So then I tried Skyrim, and that at least I think it does a much better job of Rage, Rage as well.
Yeah, Rage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Skyrim does a better job, I think, of like holding the player's hand just enough that you get to that first little township, and then you're off to Whiterun, I think is the first major city as well. Anyway, Brink as well. Yes, well done, Cobra.
Don't remind me about Brink. Oh, man.
Rogue Warrior as well, way back then.
Oh,
Those I haven't heard of.
Yeah, these were not.
you don't
great
want
games.
to. I wish I could forget about Rogue Warrior. That was like
I think most people do.
$7.
Yeah, no offense to
Yeah.
Bethesda. But anyway, here we are. 10-year anniversary. Todd Howard and the team have said that will stop remaking Skyrim if everyone stops buying it. So shame on everyone for continuing to buy those re-releases. But what I want to get to with this conversation mainly is around the fact that. Actually, let me just quickly jump on over to the official website, who has much greater detail on what is coming for free for the anniversary, and what you will be paying for as part of the anniversary edition. Let me jump over so you all can see it. Finally, we have some exciting announcements for the game itself. Current and future owners of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition, which released in 2016 for the 5-year anniversary of Skyrim, on any platform, including Xbox Game Pass subscribers, will receive access to 3 free pieces of Creation Club content. Now, I'm no Creation Club expert, but from what I understand, this is basically the hub in which all mod content exists. Skyrim and Bethesda superfans can correct me in chat if I've messed that up. So 3 free pieces of Creation Club content: fishing, survival mode, and even new quests with saints and seducers. Additionally, Skyrim Special Edition owners on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, as well as Game Pass subscribers on Xbox Series X and S, will receive a free upgrade to an enhanced version on November 11 for their respective PlayStation 5 and Series X systems. So no matter what happens, if you have access to Special Edition, whether you've purchased it or you're a Game Pass subscriber, you're going to get some kind of current gen, I should say, upgrade for free. So that's great. We're also excited to announce, that the most definitive version of Skyrim to date, the Anniversary Edition, in addition to the 3 free Creation Club items mentioned above, this version contains the full game, plus all 3 expansions, and over 500 pieces of unique content from Creation Club, including pre-existing and new quests, dungeons, bosses, weapons, spells, and more. Existing owners of Special Edition and Game Pass subscribers will also receive the option to purchase an Anniversary Edition upgrade for their Special Edition version of the game to gain access to all the additional content found in the Anniversary Edition. So, to dumb it down a bit, if I can.
Yes, please.
If you have the Special Edition, okay, either via purchase or Game Pass, you're going to get the enhancements for Series X and PlayStation 5. But the Anniversary Edition comes with 500 plus Creation Club elements, as well as the 3 expansions for Skyrim, Dragonborn, Dawncard, and Hearthfire, and that's going to be a paid upgrade. Now, on this show in the past, we've had discussions around PlayStation and a bunch of other publishers' upgrade policies as well. So where do we stand on this one? You're getting the free upgrade for current gen, just in terms of visuals, but all of this extra content you're going to have to pay for a game that, let's be honest, will be 10 years old at this point. Simone, I'll go to you first. How do you feel about this Anniversary Edition coming out and being charged for this extra content?
Well, I have to rethink a bit now, because I was convinced that the Anniversary Edition upgrade was going to be free with Game Pass. I guess it depends how much it costs. And I guess it does depend on how much they charge, and we don't know that yet. One of the things I'd be interested in is those 500 plus mods that external people have created. It'd be really interesting to know whether they got some kind of compensation for that.
I would love to know that as well, yeah.
Because, if they're going to charge for it, and some of it's not even their own stuff, it'd be nice. It'd be a really nice thing for them to do. And, I mean, they've got the money, because people keep buying Skyrim. So they could do it.
Well, now they have Microsoft's money as well.
Exactly.
Yes, of course.
Zachary in chat says Skyrim and GTA 5 have been around since the dawn of time when the Queen was born. Skyrim and GTA 5 was already there. So Jason, we're talking about, like I said, a 10-year-old game this November. For this Anniversary Edition, they're going to charge. We don't know yet the exact price, but they said a small fee. At what price point do you think this will land? And at what price point do you think it would be classified as exorbitant from Bethesda and Microsoft? Exorbitant.
Exorbitant is a great word I need to actually add to my vocabulary. $30 up would be a bit too much Australian.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be comfortable paying $10 for it. Like $30-$40 is just way too much. This is Australian, by the way. G'day, mates. And yeah, that's the thing. I guess we just have to see how much it'll cost, right? The thing that gets me is like, yeah, it's like got a few bells and whistles, but this is really for the console gamers, isn't it? I mean, people who are playing Skyrim on PC already have these mods readily available for them to download, and argument can be made that playing on PC, Skyrim looks a hell of a lot better using mods. I don't know if you guys have seen some of the mods that you can upgrade the visuals and whatnot. It just looks completely different. So there's that. Yeah, I wouldn't pay more than $30. $10 I'd consider buying it, but that's where I'll sit there.
Nice. I guess to chat quickly, Ducky007 says $12.98. Very specific, Ducky. I like it. Zachary says anything over $20 for Xbox. For Game Pass, Ultimate users make it free. And Zachary says I have his $3.50. So yeah, no, he makes a good point. I could see this happening, right? Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscribers quite often, benefit from these perks that Xbox will throw in, particularly for games as a service type experiences, where you might get X amount of these credits in Final Fantasy 14, or you get this cool microtransaction in Sea of Thieves, for instance, or some cosmetic item in Rainbow Six or any other live service game. So yeah, I could totally see that being a thing. The fact that they haven't outright said it here makes me question that though. And I think I'm with Zachary. I think anything over $20 might be a bit much for this as well. Like, yes, there's 500 bits of content, but how small might these 500 bits of content be? And look, at the very least, I think it's great that those who have the special edition are going to get that visual upgrade for free, right? I think publishers like PlayStation and EA as well have been lambasted, right, for their handling of their upgrade paths. PlayStation charging $10 US more for the PS5 version of the game as opposed to the PS4 version of the game, and that translates to $25 here in Australia as well when you're looking to buy a PS5 exclusive like Ratchet and Clank for $125, which is just a lot of money. But like Ghost of Tsushima, I like that. Hey, if you're going to charge for content, like let's make it substantial, right? Like we saw the Iki Island expansion just I think releasing shortly for Ghost of Tsushima, and they're charging for that, and I think that's totally reasonable, right? This is new content that wasn't there before, that was created specifically for this new release. So yeah, I think this is a fair balance. But to your point, Simone, as well, I think we see what the price will be, and also are the creators who created these going to benefit in some way as well. Zachariah says NEA charging $20 more for the quote next gen version of the feature because quote hyper motion eye roll. Yeah, but that's where they get people like my brother who will just buy it anyway because it's the new version. Pretty much. Let's continue with news out of QuakeCon, and that is a Quake remaster is out right now and includes enhanced graphics and new content. We'll head back on over to Press Start where James Berich has this story. Quake is now available for all major consoles to celebrate the series' 25th anniversary. The remaster boasts a whole bunch of visual improvements, including support for widescreen and resolutions, up to 4K and frame rates of up to 120 frames per second. There's a new lighting engine, depth of field effects, and anti-aliasing not seen in the original 2. As for the content, it's all here, the entirety of the original game, expansions are here as well as a brand new expansion, developed by Machine Games called Dimension of the Machine. Given licensing issues, there was a concern as to whether the Trent Reznor-made soundtrack would be included or not, but it's here in all its glory. The campaign and its expansions can also be played with up to 4 players, either online or offline. The multiplayer modes can be played with up to 8 players online or 4 players in local split screen. There's even dedicated server support for online matchmaking and peer-to-peer support for custom matches. All online modes support crossplay. There's even mod support as well, and Quake 64 is included in this package as a separate mod. This version includes tweaks to the level design and a different soundtrack. The developers promise more fan-made and official mods will be coming soon. Quake Remaster will set you back $14.95, I assume Australian, as press starts reporting this one, and is available right now for PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. The game is included with Xbox Game Pass, of course, and if you're on PC, it looks as if Quake 2 and Quake 3 Arena will be on Game Pass for PC today. Can confirm that is the case there, Up. I'm not sure you can point at any of this and say they've done a bad job. Like, if there's one way to re-release and remaster a game, it's like, hey, you don't even have to wait for it. It's right here. It's in 4K, up to 120 frames. There's new content for a game that launched, 2 decades ago. Oh, and by the way, yes, we got the soundtrack back as well. Simone, I was going to ask if you've ever dived into Quake before, but we now know that you've never played a Bethesda game, which is totally fine. But when you see like a much older title like this make its way back, does it, sort of pique your curiosity? Will you try this one out?
I have to, because Zarkrais in the chat, who's my husband, by the way, when he was giddy when he found out. He's already fired it up. He was playing just before I jumped on the podcast.
Amazing.
And oh gosh, I'm gonna get this wrong. He plays this character that's like a big eyeball.
Okay.
That's his main character. Does it have a name? I don't know.
I don't know. I've never played Quake.
No way to find it. It's impossible to find out.
He plays the character with the big eyeball. I don't know if it has a name. And he was telling me this before. He says he was so good with the grenade, no one could beat him. So
right. Orb he says in chat. There you go.
Orb. Okay, there we go. At some point, I have to play with him. I'm a good wife.
That's good.
So I'll sit there with my work laptop, and he's gonna be sitting there with his, and I'm gonna die many times.
Well, awesome. You can have up to however many players in online co-op as well. So you could get some others in there, which is great. But yeah, Jason, Quake, are you gonna dive back into this one? I know you're a huge fan of Doom.
I never played Quake. No, sorry, that's a lie. The only Quake I've played was in high school. It was in the server somehow. Someone had installed Quake, so that way we could all play it, and we just had LAN parties.
God bless those people, right? Oh my goodness.
The quiet dark horse heroes of school. So that's all I played, and we were saying in the pre-show, the way that it looks, the remaster version, is the way that I remember it looking. Was it in pre-show? I don't know. Anyway, it was like...
It was, yeah.
It looks... I'm looking at screenshots of it right now. I'm looking at the trailer on your stream right now. It looks great. And I'm looking at the file install size. Have a guess. Have a guess how big it is to install.
Oh, it's 4K, Jason. It's got to be massive.
It's 1.25 gigabytes.
Oh my goodness.
I know. Yeah, so I totally want to jump in and just have a hoot, Shane. It looks fun, and this is the OG. If you want the granddaddy of games, don't look further than like Doom or Quake. This is it. If you want to know where the rocket jump came from, like it's even in the reveal trailer. And so when I found out about it, I rolled over. I woke up and I rolled over, played my phone, and was like, Quake. That sounds awesome. No, first I was like, oh yeah, QuakeCon's happening, and I was like, oh, they remastered Quake. Yeah, so I'm stoked. Definitely keen for this one, and exactly like you said, Shane. This is the way to do it, and it's out, and it's out right now as well. So this is awesome.
I can't believe to the extent that they've actually nailed this. Now, I haven't played the game yet, so jury's out still, at least from my perspective on how good it will be. But you look at that, just like even crossplay as well, like. These are things they did not have to do, which is great. I will get to Kyle in chat, so since he's a huge fan of Quake. He says, "I'm so excited I could cry." I was playing Quake 3 before the podcast. He also says, "Quake 2 doesn't have the soundtrack in it, which is a crime against humanity." Oh
Wow.
no! And LAN Party Quake was the only reason to go to school. He says so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna have to dive into this one because I'm trying not to date myself here. I'll just say, as a millennial, my gaming history with first-person shooters extends only so far back as Perfect Dark and GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64. And I wasn't a PC gamer back then, so I wasn't exposed to Doom, Quake, or Wolfenstein. And it wasn't until Halo came along that really kickstarted my love for first-person shooters. So I am keen to go back and understand, yeah, like to your point, Jason, the roots of the now the most popular genre in video gaming in the world. So yeah, really interesting. Now, where I want to take this conversation just on Quake as well is that we got the rumor, just last week or the week before, I think we covered here on the show, of a proper Quake reboot in the works, said to have a female protagonist and being co-developed by both Machine Games, who worked on Wolfenstein and is putting out this remaster, and id, who successfully rebooted Doom way back in 2016 and then smashed it out of the park with Doom Eternal last year. We do know that more Quake will be discussed at QuakeCon later this weekend. Simone, do you think we could see a proper reboot of Quake announced, maybe in the next few hours? I'm not sure. What are your thoughts on that?
Say definitely. I think it's going to be another game that Microsoft can put on Game Pass. Plus, it'll be Xbox platform exclusive. So that'll be pretty exciting. So yeah, no, absolutely, definitely.
Nice. I love your confidence.
99%.
99% sure. Jason, we know that id absolutely smashed it with Doom, and it's back in a big way. My question is Quake, what place does Quake hold in, I suppose, Bethesda and Xbox's wider portfolio when something like Doom exists? We know that it's quite different in a sense. It has gothic overtones and architecture and that sort of thing and themes. But yeah, can you see a Quake reboot in the same style as Doom 2016 being announced as soon as this weekend?
It's in the name of the conventions, QuakeCon. It's probably one of the pillars that's there, and I guess they've looked at it and said that pillar could probably be refurbished a little bit. And if they could pull off what they did with Doom 2016 for Quake, that'd be awesome. Because it's begging for it. Like, look at it. It's begging for fast first-person shooter action with a gothic science fiction take, and with the popularity of the Warhammer 40k games that are coming out lately, that would be perfect. I'd definitely be down for it. White knuckling through every room and trying to clear out as many people as I can. So 100%, I'd totally be down for it. And if the rumors are true that it's a female protagonist, you know how much I love my badass female protagonists. Every chance I get to customize a character, it's always a badass female. So that's
nice. Get your new femshep, I suppose.
Yeah, that's right.
People saying could be a girlfriend for Doomslayer as well. This new female protagonist in Quake.
But Isabel from Animal Crossing.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Yeah. Well, they're gonna have to duke it out in some Super Smash Brothers type fashion.
I would love to see that.
Look, yeah, the rumor of this Quake reboot comes from a fairly reputable source. His name's Nick Baker. He's Australian, actually. I think down in Melbourne. He's co-founder of the Xbox Era and does the Xbox Era podcast on weekends as well. I'm hoping to get him on the show one day. Also, so yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see. I as well think QuakeCon is the perfect place to announce that. We saw that as part of one of the descriptions for the discussion that's I think happening either tomorrow or on Sunday. The description leaked some kind of talk about Quake being redone. Now that could just be about this remastered version, but that was later pulled down as well. So whether that was just hiding this or something more, I guess we'll wait and see.
That's right.
Yeah, but Zacharias in chat says yes, Quake 5 continued Quake 4's story, which I believe was 360 era as well. I remember
Really?
launching, it had like a green cover from memory as well. Release Quake Remastered
Oh,
for the masses, and then
yeah.
in a very cool way say, oh, you want more Quake? Well, it's Game Pass exclusive. Yeah, really smart, right? They could, throw out this remaster to the wider audiences on PlayStation and whatnot, and then say, hey, if you love that, here's the new version, but and it's in the style of Doom, which we all know and love, and now that Bethesda and id fall under the Xbox banner, it is now exclusive moving forward. I think that could be really, really smart. Anyway, but in terms of other remasters out of Bethesda, Jason, do you have any that you would like to see happen?
I would have loved to have seen what they were planning for Prey 2, but we'll never get to see that ever again.
Yes, that interesting. That was done by Human Head Studios, and that, to your point, never released. And then that studio was dissolved, but then built up again in Roundhouse Studios, which is within Bethesda. So they're a AAA developer that have yet to put out a game, and they're yet to announce what they're working on. So here's hoping we hear from them in the next year or so at one of the Xbox showcases. And Simone, I would ask you which Bethesda game you'd like to see remastered, but you haven't played any. But if there was one that you would like to see, probably brought up to modern standards, that would make you pick it up again, is there any that sort of jumps to mind, or is it Skyrim, for instance, or is it Fallout 4 or Fallout New Vegas?
Well, see, to me, the games that I know from Bethesda, they all feel like modern games. They're not as old as Quake, so they're not. For me, they're not old enough for a remake yet.
Fair enough.
But then in saying that, I thought the same about BioShock, and I've just finished playing that remaster, and that was great.
Oh, nice. So, yes, tell us. Did you like it? So you finished the first game?
Yes. Yeah. It's good. It's not as good as Infinite. I know that's a popular opinion.
That's controversial. Yeah.
Really? Okay. I know. I love Infinite. Infinite's fantastic. I got a bit bored with the first BioShock in places. While I was playing, it was okay, but it didn't grab me as much as Infinite did.
Yeah.
Did you know the twist in BioShock 1?
Yes, but it was. I heard. Can I say what the twist is?
It's a 14-year-old game at this point. Should you go for it?
Yeah. Okay. If you're referring to finding out that you don't have, you're not under your own control, is that what you're referring?
Yeah. Would you kindly?
Would you kindly? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know that.
Oh.
So that was really neat. But then there's such a long space of time between finding that out and the end of the game that that's incredible. And then it took forever to just finish the game.
I 100% agree.
I did hear that you become a big daddy at the end. Or you have to. But I had forgotten, which is just like me. I'd forgotten that, so that was nice to.
That's handy. Yeah.
When it came up, oh yeah, someone told me about this.
Yeah, groundbreaking at the time, right? Way back in 2007, when it first launched. And still to this day, like one of my favorite gaming experiences. A story that cannot be told through any other medium, right? Like it is the nature of interactivity that makes that story possible, which is my favorite type of games. But interesting. Yeah, Infinite obviously came out in 2013, so much later, and I suppose was more akin to modern shooters at the time. It was more fast-paced. Combat had a larger role to play in the game, so I can understand why you would like it more. And also just a fantastical setting. You have Elizabeth and Booker, and bouncing off one another. So
it's less dark.
Yes,
BioShock 1 is very dark.
Yep. Your husband agrees with you in chat as well, Simone.
It's interesting that you say BioShock Infinite is more fast-paced. It definitely is compared to the first game, but I played it very slowly. Kyle couldn't watch me play because I was looking in every rubbish bin I walked past.
I do the same thing.
To answer your question, though, as per my husband, I've heard that Fallout New Vegas is the best Fallout, and so I'm going to pick that to do a remake.
That is the one that most people, I think want when they talk about Bethesda remasters. Yeah. Speaking of Bethesda, we have Kim Lee J in chat. Kim, how are you? Kim is community manager over at Bethesda, and she's I think today was streaming as part of QuakeCon with Robert Whittaker as well.
Kim was streaming?
Or at least she was fully involved as well. with Johnny over at the Bethesda team, who we all know and love. So be sure to go give her some love as well. Kim, thank you for tuning in. Hope QuakeCon is going really well for you also. Anyway, let's pivot now to the final story in our top 3, and that is back on the Xbox train again with Sea of Thieves. It had its biggest month since launch. Keeping in mind this came out way back in March of 2018, so it is more than 3 years old at this point. We head on over to gamesindustry.biz, where Danielle Partis writes, Sea of Thieves Pirates Life expansion, spells record-breaking month for Rare, 4.8 million players in June. The milestone was revealed by creative director Mike Chapman in a video update regarding the game's most recent expansion, A Pirate's Life, which centers around Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, which we I think surprised most people at the Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase for E3. Mike says, quote, "It is a huge moment for Sea of Thieves, and the team is buzzing with the impact of it. We're more inspired, more passionate, more enthusiastic than ever to keep building out and enriching this experience." Ahead of that's just linking to their other conversation. Simone, Sea of Thieves, something you've had a chance to check out in the 3 years that it's been out.
Yes, definitely. I will say I enjoyed it more in the first and second year than I have this year. I don't like the inclusion of seasons, but I don't know. That's just me. Right, in terms of Pirate's Life, I've only played the first chapter so far, which I loved. I don't think I've taken that many screenshots in Sea of Thieves at one time than while I was playing that first chapter. And we just haven't managed to get back to it, really. But it was a lot of fun. And I don't know. Jack Sparrow is fantastic.
He is.
He is.
Jason, what about you? Sea of Thieves.
It's been well documented how I feel about pirates. Don't care from whatever. Yeah. The first Pirates film was great, and I'm just like, I can't.
Oh wow, yeah, you jumped off board, or way before most people did.
Yeah, I jumped off the plank.
Yeah, you jumped off the plank. After the first one. Interesting. Like the second and the third, I think most people stuck around for. But then I knew there was a fourth, Stranger Tides. I think is what the fourth film is called, and then there's a fifth.
Yeah,
from memory, but I can't tell you off the top of the head what it is.
Look, I watched the first 3, and I sat through them. I don't know. I didn't pay for the ticket.
Oh, fair enough.
When it came to Sea of Thieves, I played a few times. And Kim mentioned something about seeing the Kraken for the first time. I lost it when the Kraken attacked my ship for the first time. I hid under the deck. Everyone's like, "Jason, what are you doing?" And I'm like, it triggered me. I didn't realize that would be because I don't like the deep ocean, especially big deep sea monsters, and because the Kraken Cthulhu scares me more than it should. Anyway, but no, this is cool. The time that I spent with Sea of Thieves, I had a lot of fun. I think one of the last things that happened when I was playing Sea of Thieves is some guy swam over to our boat and just tried to have a conversation with us while one of his cohorts was swimming to the other side of the boat and blew up our boat. So that sucked. But, that's the type of fun that you have with Sea of Thieves, right? So, look, I haven't jumped into the new expansion, but this is awesome. Considering, the reviews and when it first came out and everyone talking about how it was kind of like a DOA type of game. But Rare just kept going with it, and look at it now. I love it. This is great. It's great to hear.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Kim notes in chat, she remembers playing Sea of Thieves with me, Shane. I think this was close to launch, and the first time the Kraken arrived, yeah, it was there was a lot of screaming involved from both of us because we're just learning how to play the game. So firstly, the simple act of trying to equip our cannonballs to load them into the cannons, that was enough for us. So, but anyway, look, yeah, like we said, 3 years, more than 3 years old at this point. This game is it's surpassed 20 million players, unique players, I believe, last year at some point. It might have been earlier this year. So a huge success for Microsoft. And to your point, Jason, kudos to Rare for really turning this ship around, might I say.
Oh my god!
From how it set off on its maiden voyage way back in March of 2018. Heavily criticized for its lack of content, but they've really brought it around. Similar redemption arc to someone like Hello Games.
Games.
With No Man's Sky. So huge credit to them. I think a perfect crossover in this sense between both IPs. And similar to you, Simone, I haven't dived into the first act. I was going to, but then I remember at launch there were a couple of issues with one of the acts, and so I sort of just held off, understanding that people were playing that and needing to repeat that mission over and over to get it to work. So I was like, okay, I'll just wait until it's all fixed. I haven't since gone back, but I did start playing before the DLC dropped, and I was playing with my mates Ben and Terry, who are huge fans of the game. I think Ben's a pirate legend, and it was one of those situations similar to my experience with Destiny, actually, where I come in and I feel as though I'm the dumbest person in the lobby, right? And everyone knows what they're doing, and it's not a good feeling that way. We're just like, I feel like I'm letting the team down. This isn't a fun experience for me. You're having to hold my hand. It's not a fun experience for you. So I do want to play this because I want to see like the magic of Pirates of the Caribbean and how it's sort of, portrayed in this world. But I don't. I think I need to do like a couple of maiden voyages and just play on my own for a bit, maybe on a little sloop and see how we go. It's
a different game. It's a different game if you play by yourself.
Yeah, true. Maybe I need another noob like me to join. So if anyone's there who wants to dive into Sea of Thieves as somewhat of an amateur,
I could be convinced with you, Shane.
Yeah, but you hate pirates, Jason. I don't want to hear you complaining the whole time.
Should be playing. This sucks. I hate this.
Just quickly back to Kim, streaming tomorrow, 2:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. I would shout out the Bethesda Twitch channel here, but I've got a feeling they don't need me driving any more viewers to their channel. So tune in to Bethesda's live stream tomorrow of QuakeCon to see Kim live streaming as well. Hello to Rockwad in chat who joins us. Kyle, you say Sea of Thieves is one of the best games of the Xbox One generation and continues to be one of the best IPs from Xbox in his honest opinion. I would completely agree. I think I really admire Rare's mission statement at the moment. If you go onto their website and you see like a lot of their stuff, really hammering this home as well, and that is they want to create games that don't exist, which I just think is such an admirable thing, like an incredibly ambitious, lofty goal to try and create experiences that seemingly haven't existed. And I think most people would say that there are some similarities between Sea of Thieves and other multiplayer exploration games, but it really is quite a unique experience, and I hope that they're able to deliver with Everwild also.
Oh yeah.
Back to chat. Xbox Gamer Dad Matt, thank you so much for joining us. They stuck to their plan and weren't swayed by what players thought it should be, which is great. I really just admire their design philosophy around that. Again, like an even playing field, right, for all players as well. Like there is cosmetics to upgrade and earn, but no player has better weapons than anyone else. So I think that's really great. Anyway, but where I want to take this conversation is specifically this partnership that Disney has established with Xbox with their collaboration on Pirates of the Caribbean. Do we see this going any further? We know that Disney has really pivoted their strategy of late, and they've decided they're going to pair up with amazing development talent no matter where they're located. We've seen this not too long ago with Insomniac making Spider-Man and Miles Morales just last year as well. We saw the announcements at the start of this year for Indiana Jones with Machine Games, another Bethesda studio, and also Ubisoft working on a Star Wars game as well. We know EA will continue to work on Star Wars games also. So Simone, could this be this little Disney Xbox relationship flourish into something more, do you think?
Interesting. I'm glad you mentioned Spider-Man because I forgot about that. I'm no expert when it comes to industry relationships and company stuff like that. They're both massive companies, and so my question is, they don't really need each other in terms of getting more fans. Essentially, they're both huge, but Sea of Thieves Pirates Life has gone really well, obviously. So I think, and that'll, that's not gonna, Disney's not gonna, what's the word? Disney has noticed, basically, and I think there's potential that they'll carry on working with Xbox. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Jason, what are your thoughts on this?
I think at the moment they're counting their money right now and seeing how much has it made us right now. They've obviously made they've planted seeds for to make Indiana Jones as well. So we'll see how that goes. But like, what else? What other IPs can they make? You know, obviously we have all of the Marvel games out at the moment. We've got Guardians coming, Spider-Man as well as an IP, Ultimate Alliance as well. That another one came out for the Switch. I would like to see. I would like to see it done well, though. Like that's the thing. Like it's all well and good to like. I would have loved to have played Avengers if it wasn't the way that it is. You know, Crystal Dynamics makes. They made Tomb Raider, the last couple
Great
of Tomb Raider
games.
games.
Yep.
Loved them. Would have loved to have played it as a single player experience, but I don't care for the grind at all. Yeah, I think when I think about it, like I would love to see X-Men, but they don't have the IP for that. As a Marvel fan personally, I would love to have like a Wolverine Cyclops team up to, because it's just, I don't know, I like Marvel vs. Capcom as well. Even a Marvel vs. Capcom game. What happened? Capcom, what happened? Anyway, what was the question?
That just around like, yeah, where we see more partnerships with Disney and Xbox. I'll quickly get to Matt in chat, who says, I wouldn't think they'd knock back an opportunity if it came up. Not that they've proven it works, but Disney probably won't reach out to Xbox with ideas. Yeah, and this is a great point. Sometimes it does need to come from the studios themselves, right? And sometimes it can come from pardon me, the IP holder. And that is, we saw, I think it was... because let me just bring up this story that I wanted to actually cite. It comes by way of MCV UK, and this was an old story, but basically brings us back to that first strategy pivot that Disney had when they brought on board John Drake as VP of Business Development. He was formerly of PlayStation, and what he noted when he was starting to tweet out about the fact that he had joined Disney, he said, "Today's my last day as head of portfolio strategy and content at PlayStation. So proud of all we've accomplished over these years, supporting games big and small and making cool things happen for the PlayStation Nation. Thank you to the team, partners, and the fans." He then followed up saying, "Excited to announce that I've joined the team at Disney as VP of Business Development and Licensing for games to help pair amazing developers and publishers with the best IP in the world. Still trying to be, quote, that guy making cool game stuff happen." So he's coming at this, and we've seen this, sort of bear fruit recently with the partnership with Insomniac and Spider-Man. He's just on a mission to find the best talent to create the best games using Disney IP, whether that's Marvel, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, or anything else, right? So, yeah, I believe because he was formerly PlayStation, he was having a chat with Sony about what they could do together, and then Sony took the idea to Insomniac, and said, if there's anything you could work on owned by Disney, what would it be? And that's when they, I believe, pitched for Spider-Man. I might have got some of the details mixed up there.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. Yeah.
But I'm just,
Sounds great. Yeah.
giving an example that it can come from the IP holder. Now, I would like to hear from chat what ideas they would like to see, particularly from the Xbox studios, because we're talking about this Xbox-Disney partnership. Just to rattle off a few: Coalition, the makers of Gears, giving us a third-person Star Wars game. Thank you very much. What about the id Software guys who have just come off of Doom? Could they do like a Republic Commando type game, or maybe like a Punisher game? From Marvel as well. Anything like I would love to see. Let's think. Arcane, who are about to finish Deathloop. What are they going to work on next? Maybe they could do some really cool, like, I don't know, Doctor Strange game or something really, really cool and interesting. I think the fact that Disney already has that belief, or at least John Drake, as part of the licensing team, has this belief in a studio like Machine Games, who have put out Wolfenstein, that they similarly would have faith in any number of one of Xbox's studios who are proven to go and make something. Zachary says Obsidian doing Pillars of Eternity type Star Wars game. Yeah, so a top-down isometric RPG. Jason, when your imagination runs wild, what do you think of for, I suppose, those wishful partnerships that maybe Xbox or Bethesda could facilitate when working on Disney IP?
I mean, you mentioned the Punisher, and that just took me all the way back to when I was a kid playing that Punisher third-person shooter. Did anyone get to play that at all?
I don't recall this one, no.
It was really cool. I mean, and it just makes sense. Like a third-person shooter, you could the Punisher is a guy with guns and just drives around gunning down bad people. But it also had a mechanic where you can torture people as well and like throw them into like buzzsaws and stuff. Anyway, something that something what studio would be really good? Like the Coalition would be actually really good at that. And it would be cool, like dark dank, like New York City or something like that. That would be really really cool. Also in the chat as well, Playground Game doing a pod racer or Forza Horizon. That would be cool. Like
That'd be
just like
amazing.
another Star Wars game,
Definitely.
not without like lightsabers or anything like that. You create your own character, you travel the galaxy, building up your pod racer. That would be good.
Yeah, I've seen it, Zachary, so I'm glad you called that one out. I don't care who it comes from, so I remember tweeting out, I think a few weeks ago at this point, that EA now owns Codemasters, obviously the makers of Dirt and Grid and Toka as well. So, yeah, they've got a relationship with Disney. Maybe Codemasters could work on a pod racing game as well.
Cool.
Man, I would love that. But Simone, like, are you a Disney fan, Star Wars, Marvel? Otherwise, when do you think of, like, you know, your favorite Disney IP also? Like, do you think of like a game that could be brought to life by one of the Xbox studios?
Definitely. First of all, I am a massive Star Wars fan, so anything Star Wars, I will play.
Nice.
Also, Jason, I love what you said about X-Men. There was an X-Men game that came out for PlayStation, and I think it was X-Men 2, and I played that to death. I never finished it.
Yes, I remember that one. Yeah.
It's very difficult. I didn't finish it because it was just too hard, but it was a lot of fun, even though I think it got terrible reviews. Okay, here we go. Hot take. High School Musical virtual novel.
Let's go. Simone,
Thank
you've just
you.
won. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Wait a second, what just happened?
Now, are we following Troy and Gabriella, or is this like High School Musical, the musicals, the series characters, or is it brand new characters? What do you want?
No, it definitely has to be the same characters. I'm not going to play anything that doesn't have Zac Efron in it.
Okay, yeah, I completely agree.
Plus, those virtual novels have a lot of characters, so you need them on 6 at least.
Okay, when is
maybe
it
some-
happening? Is it between the films? Is it after 3 when they go to college?
Yeah.
What are we thinking?
See, I haven't figured this out yet. I think after number 2, in between 2 and 3.
In between 2 and 3. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So on their way to senior high school.
Yes, definitely. I can't even remember what happens in number 3. I didn't like number 3. Number 2 is my favorite.
Number 2 is the best. That's
The best.
an objective fact. Can't dispute otherwise.
Yes.
Kylie Chat says the Coalition are masters of Unreal Engine and chest high walls. So maybe,
Yes.
any Disney properties, like a Donald Duck shooter with chest high walls potentially. We never know. Anyway, yeah, I'm trying to think of more off the top of my head. I'm sure, given any amount of time, I mean, any Avenger, right? Give them their own standalone game, and I'm sure you can find a studio within Xbox's portfolio of 23 studios to make a great game like that. Like, what about a Captain America, like, you know, action game made by Ninja Theory, for instance, right? You know, great third-person combat there. Anyway, we're gonna have to wait and see. I don't think this is the end of Xbox and Disney's partnership. I think Xbox, Phil Spencer and Matt Booty are looking at the success of Spider-Man by Insomniac Games and say to themselves, we want some of that too. Kyle, Goofy's Rampage, based on Gears of War, rated R. Amazing.
I'm trying to think of like what would be a Disney-owned IP that could translate well into a horror game.
Horror? Yeah, I'm not sure.
National Treasure.
National Treasure horror game.
Okay, let's go. National Treasure, but Uncharted style, and have Nicolas
Yes.
Cage voice like that.
Oh, no, absolutely. Yes.
I didn't know I wanted this. Now I do.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Because I was thinking about the Muppets, but I can't think of how that would work, how that humor would translate well in a game. But if you can, that would be impressive. The Muppets would be great.
Yeah, what genre would that be, right? Like when I think of that and I think of like this
Yeah.
unique style, right? Like the actual puppets themselves, or Muppets, I should say,
Yep.
pardon me. And I think of South Park, right? In the recent South Park games, one by Obsidian, another by Ubisoft San Francisco, and the fact that the art style was exactly the TV show. So is there a way that a game could exist that was identical to the Muppets? It would be like, what's that term where you actually record film, like you record live footage in a game. What's that called, Jason?
FMV.
Yes.
FMV. Thank you. Well done. Yeah, it might have to be that sort of style. The Xbox cast in chat says Deadpool.
I
game.
played Deadpool
That
game.
can be interesting.
Oh, absolutely.
I loved that Deadpool game that came out in 360. I played that over and over again.
I heard, semi-decent things about that one. I remember it getting some
Nolan
bit
North
of praise.
voiced Deadpool.
He voices everyone nowadays.
Voices everyone.
Yeah. You better not voice Troy Bolton, though, in High School Musical. None of that. We don't want that. Deadpool isometric shooter. So maybe like The Ascent, perhaps? That could be fun. Anyway, I think we will conclude the top 3 there. Thanks to everyone for contributing in chat. We'll now pivot to question time. This is the second half of the show where we dive into one big theme, topic, or trend. Like I said at the start of the show, because we have Simone, we need to talk about Xbox. Look, we're coming up on, about 9 or 10 months that the Xbox Series X and S have been readily available for anyone to buy. That's a lie. They're incredibly hard to find at the moment. Look, we haven't seen that many big releases from Xbox Game Studios themselves, whereas on the PlayStation side of things, the PlayStation fan base has had big exclusives like Returnal and Ratchet and Clank as well. More so on the Xbox side, we see Microsoft continuing to hammer home Game Pass and the incredible value it provides. And I think over the course of most of the year, we've been getting some great additions, particularly day one drops into the service. Simone, we were talking earlier before we started the show that you currently have an Xbox Series X, though you don't get to play it as much because Kyle in the chat keeps hogging it. And Jason, am I correct? You don't have an Xbox Series X or S at the moment, right?
No, I've got my One X right here and my PC.
We've had conversations not on air about the fact that people, really don't need to be clamoring for them because they don't have. There's not a lot exclusive content out there that really showcases the console, but we are on the cusp of those big releases happening. We have Psychonauts 2 coming next week. We have 12
minutes just came out today.
12 minutes just dropped today as well. That's right. We have some other day one drops on the horizon also. Forza Horizon 5 in November, and shortly after that Halo Infinite also. So there is stuff on the way, but Simone, to you first, how do you feel about, or maybe, this is something you and Kyle have discussed as well. You pick up an Xbox Series X within its first year. How are you guys feeling about the console and what it's delivered so far for your gaming appetite?
I think the biggest thing is the load times. I think I said off air that I don't notice the graphics all that much, unless it's a side-by-side comparison. I love those YouTube videos where they do side-by-side. So yes, it's definitely the load times. What was the rest of your question?
Just how you're feeling about Xbox and in 2021 and what they've managed to do. Do you look sort of not very favorably on them because we haven't got these big exclusives like PlayStation has?
No, not really. I don't pay much attention to the exclusives. Most of the time I don't even know what's on PlayStation. So whether an Xbox exclusive game is on other consoles, I don't really know. Let's see. Flight Simulator. Okay, Flight Simulator is a great example of what I'm most excited about is games that can't run on, say, the older consoles, like Flight Simulator. I don't think it works on the One X.
No, it doesn't. No, I believe maybe not in our territory, but certainly like in other territories where xCloud is available, that you can stream the game via xCloud to your Xbox One, One S, or One X. So you can play it just via the cloud, just not natively.
Gosh, I forgot about that because it's not available in Australia yet.
No, sad face.
Bloody,
yeah.
Bloody Telstra.
So, in terms of the One X, I'm really excited about the free upgrades that we're getting, like Hellblade and Fallen Order and such, because I do notice the FPS changes. I may not notice the graphics, but I do notice the FPS. First game I played that it had a Series X an upgrade was Final Fantasy 15. Yep. Yeah. And sometimes the multiple modes will confuse me. It's nice to just have one that does everything perfectly. But that FPS it's incredible. It makes me feel like I'm actually there. So yeah, that's my biggest game changer.
Nice. Jason, I touched on it earlier, but we've discussed in the past off air that you really don't need a Series X at this point because you're not missing out on much. As someone who doesn't own a Series X yet, but you are a huge gamer, do you still feel that way?
Yeah, I do. I do feel that way because like load times is like one of the biggest things that everyone keeps talking about, and like I do go, ooh, I wouldn't mind to jump into this game faster than everyone else because there are times where I'm playing Rainbow Six Siege, and everyone is loaded in, and by the time I load into the round, people are already walking. And I'm like, oh, I just got here, guys. What's going on? But then again, like I use that loading time to just like browse on Twitter or on YouTube or something, or just like kill time. But I know that when I get an Xbox Series X, I'll be like, I can't believe I used the game. You remember when we used to play video games with a controller with a cable? It took me about a year to get used to not having to do this all the time to try and untangle the cable to get it closer to me. So yeah, at the moment, I'm fine until something comes out that makes me go, I need this. I'm not going to get it because at the moment, like a lot of the first party games are coming out on PC via Game Pass day and date.
Well, they're all going to, right? So,
yeah.
Well, to that point, could you see a world in which you never get a Series X again? Because you will have access to all of Microsoft's exclusives.
No, I will because there'll be times where I'll want to be able to play on a console and bring it over to a friend's place or game with my friends who aren't on the PC platform. I think that's one barrier that they need to cross, which is crossplay. Wow. I didn't do that on purpose. And
you stumbled into brilliance, my friend.
Stumbled into brilliance. That's right. And look, in the meantime, I'm gonna keep this One X because it's doing the job right now. I'm not noticing that I'm missing like higher fidelity graphics or anything like that, but we'll see once my graphics card comes. We'll see. But look, at the moment, I'm happy with what I've got, and I'm not going to run out and get it just yet, but we'll see. Who knows? They might announce something that I don't know. Oh man, can you imagine like a Halo Infinite Special Edition Xbox Series?
It's got to happen, right? It's the 20th anniversary this November.
Gotta happen.
I think at the bare minimum we get a controller, but he is hoping for a custom console.
Have they even announced like a special edition, like collector's edition? Halo? I guess they'll probably do that when they announce the release date.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, which we'll talk about in just a moment. I'll get back to chat. Kyle says Xbox on top of the world in 2021, so he's certainly happy with how much he's been able to play the Series X, Simone. And Kim says load times, something she's definitely noticed, and the Xboxcast also says quick resume, which still blows my mind sometimes. Like there are games that I'll keep suspended unknowingly that I'll boot up weeks later, and I'm in there in like 4 seconds. I'm like, I feel bad. I feel guilty. Like my poor little Xbox has been there's like, are you gonna come back to it? Because we've got it right here. It's ready for you, Shane. And then all of a sudden, bam. So yeah. Anyway, he also says Halo Collector's Edition Master Chief comes and delivers to your house personally. Oh yeah, that would be pretty amazing.
And no, I'm not 4K gaming yet, but hopefully when I get my my graphics card, it should output at 4K. He's hoping.
So interesting, yeah. Like at least from my perspective, I think in any other, actually, how am I going to say this? I think if there are those Xbox fans who are disappointed that we haven't got any massive first party releases from them in the first 9 months of the console's life cycle, I can completely sympathize with that. I suppose like I've been fortunate that this has given me time to revisit my backlog as well and tick off those games. But in any other generation, I think if you release a console without any big first party exclusive, that's a huge failure. Like we've seen consoles be made on their exclusives, and some really hallmark experience have come at launch as well, like Super Mario 64 and Halo Combat Evolved way back 20 years ago at this point. Wii Sports for the original Wii also, and there are a bunch of other examples I could throw out as well. Breath of the Wild for the Switch also. So look, I think in any other generation, I think Microsoft would be seen more harshly. But I think considering that the demand is there for the consoles and they can't meet that demand with the supply they have, it hasn't done them any sort of I suppose any damage. And the fact that they can also just lean back on Game Pass as this hugely valuable service, right? Like we have as Game Pass subscribers, been beneficiaries of massive games that have dropped day one into the service. Earlier this year, things like Outriders and MLB The Show, formerly a PlayStation exclusive as well, so dropping into the service. We've had The Ascent recently, and 12 Minutes that Jason noted as well. Other games might not have landed with any great I suppose fanfare, like Warhammer 40k Darktide, not received particularly well. But yeah, and I think also Microsoft's done a good job of padding out those other experience. Also, we saw the introduction of FPS Boost this year as well, right? So all these games that backwards compatible getting being played, are playable even better, I suppose, on the new consoles also. So I think they've done a good job of providing value, but just not in the traditional sense that I think most people who would usually pick up a console at launch expect. So I'm most excited for the next few months, right? Like I've started playing the original Psychonauts backwards compatible as well. Nice. It's also available on Game Pass for PC, so that's how I'm playing it. And then we also have, you've mentioned Flight Simulator as well, Simone. I'm definitely going to jump into that on the Xbox. It's just a huge download, so I'm waiting till the end of the month when my data's about done to download it, which I think is actually tomorrow night, so I'm gonna have to queue that up. And then we have Forza and Halo releasing soon as well, so I think that has me most excited. Let's pivot now and discuss we're 8 months into the year. Are there any games that stand out to you as Game of the Year contenders for you personally, and also that you think might rock up at the Game Awards later this year? We'll just leave it on the Xbox side for now, but anything that that you've been playing that sort of jumps out as your Game of the Year so far? What about you, Simone?
Notorious for playing games that came out at least 4 years ago. So I haven't played anything new. But if I were to predict, I'm 50-50 about whether Halo Infinite will be Game of the Year. It's quite late in the year. I don't know, would November be too late to be considered a Game of the Year? Or is it only December game?
It's a great question. I'm not entirely sure, at least if we're talking about the Game Awards from Jeff Keighley, when that cutoff will be. It's usually late November. I know that Jedi Fallen Order missed out in 2019. I'm not sure when the cutoff was and when that launched. So yeah, I think anywhere past mid-November, it might be a bit late for Halo. But I'm at least on the same page. What we've seen from multiplayer has been really promising. I loved the technical preview that happened a few weeks ago. And at least thematically, I've been saying that, the single-player campaign is, gameplay-wise, is looking pretty promising. So I guess we'll wait and see. Jason, how about you? Halo, do you think it has a shot of at least maybe being nominated if it can make the cutoff?
Look, this is the thing. Like, they spent an extra whole year to polish that bad boy up. It's gotta deliver, and this is the same conversation they had when Crackdown was coming out, right? It has to,
and that was Game of the Year as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing, right? Because they fumbled right there. This one has to do it, and this is Halo, right? This is the flagship game. And what it sounds like with what everyone's talking about since the flighting program, which I'm it's so sad that I didn't get to play. People are really high on Halo right now. So it'll be really, really interesting to see. Because I think Halo is one of those rare occasions where people are invested in the multiplayer. As 50-50 with the story as well. People love Master Chief and want to see what happens there, and people like to teabag. So let's it's got to be Halo. Otherwise, what else is coming out this year? I can't think of anything.
Well, yeah, if we're thinking, I suppose, outside of the Xbox ecosystem as well, I did a predictions video not too long ago about what I think will be the 6 games nominated for the Game Awards at the end of the year. Before I dive into that, I just want to quickly get to chat. The Xboxcast says Ascent, one of their favorite games from Kyle, Scarlet Nexus, so good, he says. And he says that Halo is too big to ignore, with the multiplayer going free to play as well. Yeah, I think it's going to be huge. And both of them, the Xboxcast and Kyle, say Forza Horizon 5. Now I'm pretty dirty, honestly, that Forza Horizon 4 didn't get nominated for Game of the Year way back in 2018. I think that game is masterful and easily one of the best racing games of all time. It had stiff competition in 2018. We're talking about the year that had Red Dead, Spider-Man, and God of War release. So look, maybe it was just a tough competition, but I think if Playground Games can stick the landing, that Forza Horizon 5 will be one of those 6 nominees. I've also predicted that Returnal and Ratchet will get nominated. Hitman 3 as well. Rave reviews at the start of the year, and then I think the last game I predicted was 12 Minutes. Which actually hasn't been received as positively as I would have thought. So maybe we see Halo Infinite squeeze in there. Resident Evil 8 also got some high praise as well. So, but yeah. Hades launched last year, Cobra Toddy, on PC and Switch, but it has since come to Xbox and PlayStation this year, so I'm not sure it would be in the running. But yeah, no, I'm hopefully, look, if Halo Infinite is nominated for Game of the Year, then that means we have just received a fantastic Halo game, and it being my favorite franchise of all time, would be so very excited for that. So even if it gets nominated, I'll be stoked. Another game that released on Xbox and PC not long ago that could be in contention is Death's Door, which I've been playing and absolutely loving. I'm about 6.5 hours in. I think I've got one more boss to go before I get like the first ending. I think there are multiple endings you can get in that game. So I think that'll probably make my list. It's probably at number 1 right now. Now, I haven't played that many games this year, or new games this year, so it's number 1, and then there's nothing else below it at this point, so we'll see where it lands. But yeah, I guess, look, seemingly no big game just standing out as like the one clear choice for Game of the Year, right? So I think that can only be a good thing. But here's hoping over the next few months we get some really exciting stuff that might be up for contention. When we look ahead at the next few months, I suppose from an Xbox perspective, what would you say you're most excited for? Simone, is there anything that immediately jumps out at you as something that you just cannot wait to play?
For the rest of this year, it's probably Halo. Yeah.
Nice.
Kyle and I need to finish 5 because we haven't. 5 and ODST we haven't done yet. So we should probably get onto that.
You should, yeah. No, definitely. ODST is amazing, and 5, well, I'll let you find out for yourself what the game's like.
Yeah, I'm not excited about 5, but I have heard ODST is a lot of people's favorite one. So I think that's our next one. It's usually Sunday is our couch co-op day.
Oh, that's great. I love that. What an amazing tradition.
So we'll get on to ODST soon, and then finish 5, and then we'll be ready for Halo. I guess it's coming up quickly.
That's awesome. Yeah, before I get to you, Jace, we'll just quickly get to chat. Also, chat, let us know, what is your game of the year so far, and what are you most excited for the rest of the year? Ducky says, Battlefield 2042, game of the year, Jason. I know you're excited for that one. And Cobra Toddy, what about Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut? Similarly, because the game originally launched last year, I'm not sure it'll be eligible for game of the year this year. Though initial reviews or impressions I've seen from the recent expansion are very positive. So, probably something to definitely look forward to. Kyle says, once you open up Game of the Year to remakes and remasters, it opens a can of worms. Yeah, I completely agree. Jason, but in terms of games you're looking forward to for the rest of the year, and what immediately jumps out to you for Game of the Year contention? Kim says It Takes Two. Yeah. Actually, that's the other game that I put up there as one that will probably get nominated at the Game Awards, and dare say, I think it might win. It was so very well received.
I wish I could play It Takes Two. I want to play it with. I could play it with any of the chuckleheads in the Cupcake Squad, but I kind of feel like I want to play it with a significant other.
Someone that means a bit more to you than one of the chuckleheads.
Because it'll be the test of the relationship, right?
Kim says, best game this year. She finished it with Will. This is the latest game from damn it! It's Hazelight. Joseph Fares, the Swedish director who made one of my favorite games of all time. His first game was Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons on Xbox Live Arcade way back in 2013. Adore that game. He then the team released, A Way Out, which was a Prison Break co-op game a couple of years ago. And yes, It Takes Two. Simone, so you have not played this one yet?
But it's on my to-play list. I have a very big to-play list.
I honestly, maybe this could be one of your, couch co-op games. This would be perfect for you and Kyle, right? Yeah.
Definitely. I do plan on playing A Way Out first.
Okay.
Only because It Takes Two is apparently a bit better. So I want to not spoil myself. first. But we have to finish Halo first, and that'll take a while.
Look,
Sounds
I'm so
good.
glad you got your priorities straight there. Okay,
Yeah.
so Kim, yes, you are selling it. She says, best game this year. I played it with Will. It was amazing. Such a big surprise. A laugh out loud game. Yeah. No, I too, Jason, am waiting to experience it with, someone else other than one of the boys, let's say.
Yeah.
Because,
It just won't hit as hard.
Yeah, that's it. But in terms of
Otherwise,
games
like,
releasing towards, pardon me, sorry, go ahead.
Battlefield like could be one of the games that could be up there. I mean, I've been playing a lot of Battlefield 5 lately, and I'm just nailing headshots as a sniper class. It just feels so good, and it brings me back. Like 2049 is bringing me back to Battlefield 3 days with me and my housemate at the time. Would be in our individual rooms and would just be yelling out at each other. It's like bring an LMG when you spawn in next, and we'll just hold down this lane. Oh man, I'm so excited for it. The thing that gets me is the price. Like, I don't know if that's going to be it, the make it or break it for people. I'm probably going to get it anyway, just because I want to play a modern day Battlefield, because the scale of battle in Battlefield is just there's so many unique things, and their selling point of like only in Battlefield really works, because there are so many things that you could just like. There's so many. It's great. Sorry,
Unique
I'm not
Battlefield
putting it
moments is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I mean, like the amount of times I'll be like running. I'll run out of a building, and all of a sudden I'll see like a jet just fly by and crash into the ground, and I'll just be like, "Huh, well that's fun," and then like keep running. So yeah, Battlefield's cool. Also looking ahead, like there's also the Guardians of the Galaxy game coming out too, which would be really interesting, and as well as like Dying Light. I'm not too keen on Dying Light because that looks terrifying. But yeah, like I think those are the big ones on my radar. I want to put a special shout out to Strange. Life is Strange. Sorry.
Oh yeah, that's True Colors. That's it. Yeah.
I don't know though, because like I played. I love Life is Strange 1 and Before the Storm, but I think I have that special connection emotionally to Chloe and Max. In the first two games, and then I played a little bit of 2, and I just didn't get that special connection with the two brothers in that one yet. So I don't know. We'll see how Life is Strange goes. I'm definitely going to play it. So yeah, that's where my wallet is going towards next.
I'd be remiss with Kim here in chat and not noting Deathloop, which comes out in September. Now, it's a PlayStation exclusive, but will also be on PC. And another PlayStation title, Kenna Bridge of Spirits, which is shaping up to be something quite unique and special also. So I'm really keen to try that. That's going to be on the Epic Game Store, which is where I'll be playing it and probably streaming it here on this channel also. So yeah, quite a few games. You mentioned Guardians as well. I think that could be surprise some people, particularly, he's hoping that, Square Enix has taken aboard the feedback from the Avengers as well. It had a pretty positive showing at E3, so yeah, we'll just have to wait and see if it can really deliver. Moving on now, let's talk more about Xbox. We've just been discussing what we're looking forward to. One thing we have to look forward to is their Gamescom showcase next week. I'll head on over to their official website where they have all of the details. They have noted that this will be a live stream as part of Gamescom. We have Paris Lilly from the Kind of Funny Xcast hosting, just like he did the extended showcase for E3 earlier this year, joined by Kate Yeager. I believe it's early hours of the 25th for us, so I think 3 a.m. or something stupid in the morning. So looking forward to that. Jason, we going to live react to that, or?
Yeah. Yes. Let's do it.
Catch us here, 3 a.m. See you there, guys. But anyway, Aaron Greenberg was quick, the head of marketing for Xbox, general manager of marketing, was quick to come out and sort of quell expectations. No new announcements, he said, no big surprises. This is a focus on games coming in 2021, so safe to say that we'll probably hear from Psychonauts, which is out, I think, that day or the day after. We also have Back for Blood, which is a day one drop into Game Pass. Obviously, maybe Battlefield turns up since it has that marketing partnership with Xbox, and then also Forza Horizon 5 and Halo Infinite as well. There are a couple of other notable indie games that Xbox didn't showcase at E3 that apparently is still slated for 2021. The Gunk. Does anyone remember The Gunk?
Punk.
I'm gonna I'll look up a trailer for
yeah.
this. But it was released. Announced, I believe, last year at one of Xbox's showcases from the same people who made. Pardon me. It was Oh no, I'm blanking on their name. Is it SteamWorld Dig? This is the trailer you can see on screen. We also have Scorn, which is a really creepy horror-looking game as well, and a couple of other Game Pass drops also. So, I just want to talk quickly about predictions and hopes what we see next week. Simone, anything that immediately comes to mind that you would want to see for 2021 from Xbox next week?
There's nothing in mind that I want to see. To be honest, I can't even remember what's coming out for the rest of the year, apart from Halo. I'm almost certain they'll have something about Starfield there. Whether it's another in-game trailer, whether it's gameplay, I don't know, but Starfield.
You reckon, even though it's end of 2022?
I think the guys would cry if there was nothing in there about.
I think they're gonna cry anyway, Simone.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I think there's a chance.
Well, Kim from Bethesda in chat, she can confirm here and now whether we'll see Starfield next week. Kim, if you wouldn't mind, just let us know. That'd be great. Jason, what about you? What are you thinking for Gamescom next week? Any hopes or predictions?
I feel like I'm a broken record right now because I keep talking about Master Chief, but release date for Halo would be nice.
Please.
What I would love to see is them say Xbox Design Labs for the Xbox controllers and now expanded to multiple more countries, including Australia, because I would love to have like a custom Xbox controller in the colors of AV Unit 1 from Evangelion. It just looked so good, and have my gamer tag at the bottom there. It'd just be awesome. Like it's Design Lab designs that I've seen in like a lot of Facebook groups. They just look so good, and I want one of those. I mean, I've got my Master Chief Xbox controller. It looks nice, and I've got my Elite controller here as well, which is nice, sleek, and professional. But it'd be nice to have like a goofy color. You know, I've got a bright red PlayStation controller, and that's nice. I don't play PlayStation enough. It's bright red.
What color would you go for though if you got a Design Labs controller?
It'd be like purple and green. So like.
And what would that be inspired by, Jason?
Neon Genesis Evangelion from my T-shirt right there.
See, I thought you were going for Barney the dinosaur.
Oh no. Damn it! Now that you've said that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Amazing.
It's an anime. I'm a bit of a nerd. I think Design Labs expanding out to other regions would be really, really nice.
I would love that.
I don't think that will happen, but that'd be cool. I guess because I think at the moment it's just a US thing, and this being Gamescom set in Cologne, Germany, like, we're expanding a Design Lab to Europe and Australia. It'd be nice. But
is Design Lab only North America? I thought it was Europe as well.
It could be. I thought that's what it was, but maybe I'm wrong. Chat, let me know.
Anyway, chat, let us know your Gamescom predictions for next week as well. I want to quickly get to a couple of notes. Kyle says, in a twist, Psychonauts wins Game of the Year. You know what? I reckon, there's a chance. There's a chance. Yeah. Double Fine, this is the game that... Back in 2005, Psychonauts was one of those cult hits that was reviewed incredibly well and was a Game of the Year contender way back when. So maybe they, struck gold twice. We'll just have to wait and see. Yes, you also say, can it comes to PC too, 6-month exclusive on the Epic Store before coming to Steam and GOG. We also have Slime Rancher 2. You're saying Scorn looks amazing. Kim, you mentioned, yes, the Popart Halo Needler controller. Jason, have you seen this one?
I did see it, and I did like it. If they that's not official though, is it?
I believe he's officially partnered with Xbox and Microsoft. Yeah, so he is making it with their permission, their license. Yeah.
Oh, that changes everything.
They did go on sale, but I'm not sure if they're still available. So Kim says Gamescom will show me more Perfect Dark.
Oh, Kim, wow, I totally forgot about Perfect Dark.
I think you're dreaming. I think Perfect Dark's 2023 at the earliest. I think we're a long way off Perfect Dark. I would love to see it. I would love to see it. You know how much I've been fanging for a new Perfect Dark game. But anyway, yes, you mentioned Halo, Jason. We know that Phil Spencer has said that they know when Halo Infinite's going to land within this 3 to 4 week window, and they were just waiting for other third-party games to plant their flag in November. I think most people predicted that it was Call of Duty that they're waiting to see where it would land so they don't sort of overlap and clash with one another. And lo and behold, Call of Duty Vanguard got announced overnight. I'm just going to run the trailer in the background. It lands on November 5th. And shout out to good friend Martin Copping, voice of Mozzie in My Baby Rainbow Six Siege, plays a key role in the new Call of Duty Vanguard as part of the Australian campaign. We go back to, I think, World War II with this one. And
what?
The campaign's playable from different perspectives. Martin Copping, one of the key characters, plays an Aussie in that theatre of war. So
Nice.
really excited to see that brought to life. I'm just waiting until he appears on the screen and I can pause it so you can see him in all his glory. We'll just wait together, guys. Hold your breath. Anyway, so November 5th for Call of Duty Vanguard, and we know Forza is landing November 9. There he is. Look at that. Martin Copping. Beautiful man. Anyway, enough of that. Where do we think Halo Infinite lands? We know that the game is celebrating its 20th anniversary on the 15th, along with the original Xbox, but that would only be 6 days after Forza Horizon 5 launches. Simone, what are your thoughts on where Halo Infinite might release? Is November 15 too close to Forza, or do you think it can only release on the 15th because it's the 20th anniversary? It's such a huge moment. What are your thoughts on this one?
So did you say that Forza's dropping on the 9th?
On the 9th of November, yeah. So this would only be 6 days after Forza.
Oh, dang it, because my prediction was going to be the 12th, but I think that's too close now. So
Right.
19th.
19th. Okay.
Yep.
Jason?
I think it's going to be on the other side of the month from like to get as far away from. I don't think they want to do what Titanfall. I don't think oh my god, brain. I don't think they want to do what EA did to Titanfall. Yeah. So I think they're going to release it on the 26th of November, which is towards the end of the month, which will be really good to lean into the December holiday period. I think that'll be great, and it would be very, very handy to play all weekend. Just get that Halo in me. That's my prediction.
Cobra Toddy notes those controllers you can still buy the Pope Art Halo Needler one as well. So, Jason, if you're interested, you can go check that out. Kyle says Halo doesn't need to be far from anything. Xbox should just say November 4th. Is that what you mean, Kyle? I'll just double check there. You say it will suck all the air out of the room. I think given that, like you noted as well, Kyle, that the multiplayer at the very least is free to play. I don't think they have much to worry about on that front. But I tweeted about this earlier, just a clip that because my prediction is November 23. My logic for that is they don't want any kind of overlap between Halo and Forza. And yes, they're two completely different games, two completely different genres. But because the campaign of Halo will launch into Game Pass, and Forza Horizon 5 will be a massive title for all Xbox fans. Keeping in mind that Forza Horizon 4, 25 million players have played that game. Forza Horizon 5 is going to be absolutely massive. So you don't want to have any one Game Pass subscriber needing to decide what they're going to play, Forza or Halo. Microsoft wants them to play both. I think it's also important that Halo launches before Black Friday, because if they're going to do any kind of promotion, particularly bundling, Game Pass and saying, hey, Halo's just released, they want to do that before Black Friday, before everyone goes out to buy their consoles. And I also don't think it's that important that they release on the 15th for the 20th anniversary. I think they might actually hold the 15th as just like a pure Xbox celebration, and maybe that's when the mini fridge actually launches as well.
Oh yeah.
And then they can say, hey, in 8 days time, or in just over a week, Halo Infinite is out. Here's a brand new live action launch trailer that they love to do for Halo as well. So I'm planning my flag November 23. Happy to be wrong on that if it comes earlier. I will not be angry with that one. So I guess we'll wait and see. I too am hoping that we see this at Gamescom. I want a release date. I also want to know when the next technical preview is going to happen, if that's going to be Big Team Battle as well, because I said there's going to be more tech previews also. So yes, we're just going to have to wait and see on that front, but certainly exciting times for us here in Xbox land. But yeah, if anyone has any predictions on Halo Infinite release date, let us know in the chat as well. 213 Australian dollars. Is that how much it is, Jason?
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. Price in dollar reduce. Tobias.
That's a bit painful. That is a bit.
When's your birthday?
Jason's birthday's already passed.
That's
Christmas.
Oh, that's a good idea. It's a good idea. If anyone wants to donate to my
Twiggy, you're still there?
Channel, yeah.
Could be a fitting birthday present for Jason.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are at the end of the show. I want to thank Simone so much for joining us for the first time here on the Question Box. I hope you've had a great time.
Thank you for having me.
It's been our pleasure. Jason as well. Thanks so much for joining me for another episode. Always a blast to have you, my friend.
Yeah, I had a pod blast.
You had a pod blast. You're going to steal Ben's saying, are you?
He's not here to say it. I can steal it.
We'll round out the show now. Jason, where can people find you?
You can find me. I'm never on Twitter, but my Twitter handle is at Neon Mirror, one word. Or you can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Neon Mirror, all one word again. And I will be hopefully streaming 12 minutes tomorrow. I want to try and get as many playthroughs as I can tomorrow, and hopefully we can explore what happens, because I'm really interested. I can't wait. But thank you.
Agreed.
Okay.
And Simone, how can people find you and all the fantastic work you do with Kyle and Lee?
Okay, so personally, you can find me at JimBeanNZ on Xbox and Twitter. The Xboxcast, all one word. You can find us on Twitter. We even have an Instagram, which I was really slack on this week. And the Xboxcast.co.nz.
Nice.
And we stream on Twitch.
Yes, I've just shouted out the Xboxcast and Neon Mirror on Twitch, so be sure to go follow them.
Thank you.
Both guys. Thank you to everyone who joined us in chat. This has been a really fun conversation, so thanks so much for chiming in and giving us your thoughts. This is the part, this is why I love doing this show, because we get to have the discussions as well. So really appreciate everyone chiming in and contributing to what has been a very fun episode. This has been the Question Box. You can catch all our past episodes on my YouTube channel as well. Just search Magic Cast on YouTube. I'm also going to do the Twitch command here as well before I forget, so you can just click the link. Also, I do a bunch of gaming industry commentary, analysis, and reactions over there also, so be sure to check all that out. You can follow me at magic_cast on Twitter as well. Don't forget to watch Jason and I live react at 3 a.m. next week to the Xbox Gamescom showcase. Looking forward to that one, and we hope to see you again next week. The Question Box every Friday, 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, right here on this Twitch channel. Thanks again to Simone and Jason for joining us. Thanks so much to you guys in chat as well. We hope you've had a great time, and we will see you next time.